Joining us now for a conversation is the Speaker of the House of Representatives of Antigua and Barbuda, Mr. Obsert Frederick. Mr. Speaker, thank you for joining us on the program.
My pleasure.
To begin with, tell us about how has your experience overall been, what has stood so far in the deliberations that have happened at the 28th CSPOC?
Oh, it has been a wonderful experience. I am very delighted to be here in India, and thanks for having me on your program. It's my second visit in 2 months. I was here in November in Lucknow at the City Montessori School conference. But the experience here has been very enlightening. I have learned a lot, you know, the entire parliamentary procedures, you know. It's just been tremendous. I really had a good time, and I have learned a lot that I could take back to my parliament and try to implement to make our parliament, you know, better.
If you could elaborate more on some of these experiences and learnings that you're taking back from the 28th CSPOC hosted by India.
The use of AI in Parliament, that was, you know, very eye-opening yesterday. Today, health care for parliamentarians, that was another topic that came close to my heart, because we do not have those things implemented in our parliament. You know, but the AI one was, you know, really enlightening, and I'm looking forward to having some of those things implemented in our parliament. And I was also very happy that they showed you the dangers that could occur, and so it was very good. Yeah.
As Speaker, would you like to share with our viewers some of the initiatives that you are undertaking in your country to bring the Parliament closer to people? Because ultimately the focus of the CSPOC, this edition of the CSPOC, has also been on connecting people to democratic institutions, which include the Parliament.
Yes. In my country, a very small country, 108 square miles, our sister island is 62, so we total of about 170 square miles, 100,000 people. People are very interested in parliamentary debate. We have a pretty huge following, you know, so that's not really a problem. We try to bring in children from the schools regularly to see what's happening in our parliament. Personally, I am starting an initiative in the very near future, and as soon as I get back, I call it the Speaker's Table, where I'm going to take one young male from each of the secondary schools and start a mentoring program for them. Right? I'm going to try and get a male who is not doing so well in school, so if I can encourage, because I don't know what it's like in India, but back in my country, we are losing our young men. The girls are outperforming the boys, and so I'm going to start a mentoring program, 20 boys, you know, to start with, and see where it can go. But to get back to your question, people are interested in the parliament. You know, the debate, particularly around the budget time, etc. So we really don't have a problem. The problem is they do not understand the day-to-day runnings of Parliament. Many think that Parliament is only when it's in session, but a lot goes on 5 days a week, 6 days per week. So that's one of the things we're trying to educate the population on.
So that was about connecting with people. In fact, the larger objective of CSPOC has been about making parliamentary procedures closer to people and ensuring that they keep trusting these organizations. You said yours is a very small country, but a very active parliamentary democracy.
Yes.
How important in that context do you think the platforms like CSPOC are in ensuring that voices of smaller countries within the Commonwealth framework are heard and acted upon?
Very, very important. And that's why I take the opportunity, sorry, whenever possible to attend these conferences, just for the learning experience and to have the voice of a small island nation being heard. You know, so it's very, very important. And these organizations have been very helpful to us, providing training for young parliamentarians. As a matter of fact, during our discussion here, we have asked for training for our newer parliamentarians. So it's very important that we are part of these organizations.
How effective have these platforms been in bridging the gap between the larger democracies and the smaller democracies, but all within the Commonwealth framework? Commonwealth is all about diverse countries, diverse parliaments with age-old traditions and historical backgrounds. But the fact that they're all part of the Commonwealth framework, that's the biggest common factor. But there are gaps that persist. How effective has a platform like CSPOC been in bridging that gap? Very
effective, very, very effective. I mean, we get to meet people. Like I said, they provide training for us, etc. So being a part of these organizations is very, very effective.
Coming now to the role of the speaker, because that is what was also underlined during the inaugural speeches by the IPU chairperson, by the CPA chairperson, also by our Lok Sabha speaker Om Birla. He said, given the challenges and the mistrust in democratic institutions, the role of presiding officers has become extremely challenging. How do you reflect on that challenging role, and how do you ensure that you carry on proceedings with fairness, with impartiality?
You're correct, and there is that feeling among some, because we're a very small population. I mean, there is a feeling that the speaker should be neutral, but there is nothing called neutrality in politics. I make no apologies that I'm a member of a political party. If I wasn't a member of a political party, I would not be speaker. Absolutely. And if the government changes tomorrow to another government, I would not be speaker. But I try my utmost to be fair, to be impartial. Sometimes the opposition tests you, like we had during the debate proceedings. But I try my very best to give everybody equal opportunity on both sides. I have not been speaker for very long. It's about 1 year and 3 months. I was a member of the Senate for 10 years before, and the deputy president. So that sort of prepared me for this role. As a matter of fact, the person that I took over from as speaker passed away recently. The funeral will be on Wednesday as soon as we get home. Sorry. Yeah. But it's a learning experience, and I think I'm learning very quickly. As I said, the years in the Senate prepared me, so I think I'm doing pretty well.
We wish you the best with your endeavor. But coming to this edition of the CSPOC, this has been the largest in terms of participation. Also one of the grandest events we've seen the Parliament of India organize. India is the world's largest democracy today. Yours is a small country, you said, but a very active parliamentary democracy. Two different democracies, but part of the Commonwealth framework. Lots to learn from each other. What is it that you carry back home after the 28th CSPOC? It's been a platform where India has also showcased its democratic traditions, and it's showcased to the world that our journey of being a democratic country has been because we are able to deliver, we are able to meet the citizens' aspirations, their expectations, and that's why it's an evolving procedure. So as you go back home after listening to the deliberations, listening to such remarkable speeches by chairpersons of the IPU, CPA, our Prime Minister, the Lok Sabha Speaker, what is the most biggest outcome that you carry back home?
If you can have a democracy where in the last election you had over 700 political parties, thousands of candidates, and you can make that work, we can make ours work where you have 2 or 3 political parties, no more than 40 candidates. We can make that work. And that's one of the takeaways. If India can do it with such a large population, I think we can do it too. So I think we learned a lot from the way your democratic process operates. And I want to take this opportunity to really thank the Parliament of India for putting on this show. You know, it's been more than just a conference. It has been a showpiece. You know, we have thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. The weather is not what we are accustomed to, but we got accustomed to it, over the past couple of days.
But I hope you were able to experience the warmth and the hospitality that India
Well, that's what I'm
known
saying.
for.
Yeah, the people have been really special.
Finally,
Really special.
Mr. Speaker, as we wrap up the conversation, how would you reflect on India's leadership? India believes in the principle of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is to look at the world as one family and believe in development for all. So there are some examples that our Prime Minister highlighted in his speech yesterday, that even when we were facing the crisis of the COVID pandemic, we did not hesitate in reaching out with help to more than 150 countries. We've tried to emerge as the voice of the global south and try and represent the underrepresented at the global fora. How would you reflect on this commitment that India has given to countries of the global south and the underdeveloped countries?
And may I say that my small country was one of the first to benefit from India during the COVID pandemic. We got huge numbers of vaccines from India, and we are forever grateful. I think India's democratic process is special for such a very large population, right? I think this country has done a lot to showcase to the world what democracy is. Again, 700 political parties, you know, that's democracy. There's a certain country that believes they are the greatest democracy, which is the United States. 2 political parties, maybe 3. No, I think India has shown the world that this is the way it should be done. Like I said, I was in Lucknow a couple of months ago at a conference for judges. I don't know how I ended up there as a parliamentarian, but again, it was the same sort of thing they were pushing. Peace around the world, bringing everybody together as one people. We're a family. We're a family. I like to tell people this is the way I describe myself. I'm a child of God. My race is human. My nationality is earth. I just happen to have an Antigua and Barbuda passport. But anywhere I go and I meet people, that's my brother and that's my sister. And I think if we all live that way, this world would be a wonderful place.
That's what India's approach has been,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
We believe in one world, one family, and we believe in development for all. Thank you for understanding that cooperation, and we hope that this cooperation is extended in many ways, and more countries join India in doing that. But thank you so much for taking our time and speaking to us about not just the 28th CSPOC, but about India's leadership position as well in helping out countries, and about the hospitality that you witnessed in India. Thank you once again for that.
And I hope one day I can return to watch some of the IPL games.
Definitely, you're most welcome.
Thank you.
So that's it from us in this conversation. Thank you very much for your time as well.